Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ZeldaSpeedRuns, and for one final time, it's time for the A Link to the Past No Major Glitches tournament, because it's the grand finals between Buane and Eriror. I couldn't be more hyped to show you this, and commenting today will be Chex Human and Clearmouse. You two, it's all yours. Take it away.
Yo, Chex, are you excited?
Hello, I'm so excited to be here with you to commentate the grand final race of the NMG tournament.
Oh, heck yeah, dude, this is it. This is the absolute last game. This is for every single bragging right of 2021 NMG finals. Like, this is going to be an amazing race. So Buane and Eri have already faced off each other twice already. We can certainly see the 1-1. This is the third and final game of the entire series, of the entire tournament. They put in like an amazing set of games so far, so I certainly expect this to be no different.
Yeah, they have given us a lot of W's versus L's. So I wanted to give a quick rundown, starting with Buane. He was in Group C, 3-0 against Trinex, Lanxian, and Gem. And in brackets, he started with a win versus Apathy Duck, then Fricker, then a win versus Doomtap, and he won versus Eriror with a 124-48. And we didn't. So that was the end of winners brackets, and then we had game 1 grand finals versus Eriror, but took a loss with the same time of 124-48.
Yeah, you know, you would think, right, with a 128 time, like, it doesn't matter what, like, high, low, or middle, right, that you have a pretty good chance of winning. But, you know, this is the grand finals of NMG, right? That time probably was actually good enough to win, like, 95% of the races beforehand. But, you know, this is really where the top gaming happens. Right, top speeds, top everything. 128 hopefully will be a target of our runners today, if not faster. But you know, we're gonna really be in store for quite a treat. So yeah, you know, in Chex, we were talking, you know, earlier about, like, you know, maybe we should give a rundown, right, for, you know, wins and losses. But, you know, like, for Eri and Buane, there is actually not losses. There's only a single loss, and that is on Eri. Because he came from, in this case, losers bracket. So he, you know, not only, like, they didn't give up anything, right? Not in groups, basically not in brackets either. So you did mention that Buane was 3-0 in groups. Eri is certainly not going to be outshined by Buane. He was also 3-0 in Group A, since he started with the number 1 seed. He fought off Kyung, Shady, and Apathy Duck. All pretty much right, you know, and this is the beginning of the tournament, right? Eri is kind of warming up with a couple of 125s, you know, high 125s, maybe 124 sprinkled in there. And then, you know, as the tournament went on, he went to face off yours truly, Chex, Andy, Dow, Buane in the winners finals, ended up taking his one loss, got knocked down to losers bracket, and then decided to just game his heart out because he beat Fricker and Buane both with low 124s. And here we are today, in the grand finals, ready to take on Buane for a third time.
Right. So here we are in Escape. We are rescuing Zelda from Zelda, who's been locked in the basement of the castle. And we are going to rescue her in this segment and return her to the sanctuary. And we are approaching Ball and Chains. The Ball and Chain guard, one of the trickiest guards in this game.
Yeah, this is starting off as one of, like, the 20 most difficult bosses in the game. So we are going to come up, yes. Looks like, you know, both runners, of course, you know, starting off as expected, you know, very well. Looks like Buane actually took a little bit more damage than Eri initially did. But, you know, certainly being able to take down Ball and Chain with 8 slashes.
So we'll see some, a couple of different strats and maybe a different route option later in the speedrun, but both of these runners are extremely consistent, very, very good at this video game altogether.
Yeah, I certainly, expect that, well, assuming nothing goes wrong in Escape, which of course is probably not the best of expectation, both runners. So most people, I think, would, especially in this tournament, tends to go for, if you're like sub-6 Escape time, usually pretty good. Certainly, even if you just look at these runners' splits for Escape, probably you're going to target right around like 550, if not a little bit faster. Of course, this is Escape. We are subject to quite a large amount of RNG, especially towards the back here of Escape, which is where these guys are going to be very shortly. So you mentioned, Chex, that we did face one of the trickiest bosses early on for Ball and Chain. Right, we're actually going to come up very shortly here on the second, potentially trickiest bosses in the game, which is going to be the Key Rat. That little rat has a very important small key that we definitely need in order to unlock the back escape, and he does not want to be caught.
Yeah, there's lots of little RNG here and there. It's kind of affecting which way our runners are moving Link. But we really have to chase this thing sometimes. So, or hopefully it'll walk into our path.
Here we go. Oh, yeah, you know what? He was even ready to greet Eri. Like, even ran towards him. But, Buane, unfortunately, does not have the same friendly, charisma. With these rats, not only did the rat trying to run away from him, like, buddy, like, tried to, get in his way so his friend would be protected.
Yeah, it was a rat party. But Buane, he was able to join the party, but he crashed it.
Yeah, exiting Escape right at the 550 mark. Pretty dang good for Eri. Buane, very not far behind him whatsoever, probably just a second or two difference. Gonna get through these text boxes. Nothing really special, looks like. No RAV frames, no heartbeat frames. So in order to speed this text box up just a little bit. And of course, now we're going to see both Buane and both Eri and presumably Buane, right after he gets through this, going to pick up Sanctuary. Okay, all right. So Buane is already in the lead with a chest turn. So we're going to keep track of this, right, Chex?
Oh, that's right. Shoot, where's my scorecard?
Yeah.
All right. 1-0.
That's right. So, all right, Eri, the ball's in your court here. The pressure is on.
So our runners are off to the next dungeon of the game, Eastern Palace. We have a long-ish overworld. We have the Octorok field. Eri suffered a bit of damage there. So Buane did as well.
Buane did as well. So maybe this is their, falling back to their muscle memory, right? So, them picking up Sankar is really just like kind of a tournament-only thing, right? If you ever watch them try to run their PBs, they definitely don't pick that up. So, maybe they're just trying to fall back, right, to, do Eastern Palace, right? Just as if they never picked up that Sankar to begin with.
Yeah. Interesting. So it's a heart that is given to Link on a per segment basis. Apparently. But yeah, the Sanctuary Heart is the fastest safety that we can grab in this game. So it's more or less part of Link's outfit.
This is where I guess something like he wears his hearts on his sleeve or something like that.
Yeah. So here we are in Eastern Palace. The enemies are kind of random. We don't have we'll get to some RNG heavy rooms. So it's again all about movement, clean door entry, in some cases even pumping, try to gain pixel boosts.
Every little bit helps, right, Chex? In this case, right? If you think you can save, 5 frames here, 2 frames there. You said something like before, right? But there are like 500 some screens that we have to get through in this game, right? No, those little 2 frames like certainly do add up across many screens like that.
Right. So in Eastern Palace, there's not the frames don't add up so much that one runner will have a lead over the other. It's more about avoiding mistakes, and the enemies run on cycles. So we want to make sure to defeat the Igors in one cycle to avoid disaster, basically.
That's right. It's the no major disasters, or hopefully in this case, no minor disasters either for these guys. If you are someone who is playing Buane or playing Eri, you know that you don't have very much margin in order to give up. Speaking of no major or minor disasters, though, both runners ended up speeding up, getting the big key to Eastern Palace, taking their damage boost off of the Popos, and then being able to hit the switch. Eri is a little bit lower on health. So we're already on, thank you Team Sankart, on Eri's side, otherwise he wouldn't be able to get to the back here. He does need to be a little bit careful because these green Igors, along with the red Igors, also do 1 heart of damage, and dying in this palace is really not something that you would like to, have happen to you.
Nice. Zelda gamer room from Eri.
Yeah,
and double Igors.
And a red rupee drop, man. I was gonna say that Buane had a very early lead with that with that blue rupee drop from the Popos, but Eri just totally just claimed the lead.
And we have 2 different strats for Armos Knights. Eri went with 5 to the right, 1 down, in shooting his arrows, and Buane 5 right, and then down on the left side.
From the looks of it, Buane also caught the pendant just slightly lower than Eri. I assume the lower you catch it, like the slight speed up you get.
Right, we can save frames by catching pendants as low as possible for whatever reason. Seems counterintuitive since they fall from above, but that seems to be the way the game operates for some reason.
But of course, we are just very nitpicky here, both runners. You can see on their showcase of display and execution, did a very nice job cleaning up Armos. But of course, what do we get from Armos as a prize? We get the Pendant of Courage, we get to turn this into Hasla, and we get probably the best movement item, of course, in the game, a fan favorite, which is, of course, the Pegasus Boots.
Yeah, we can use the Pegasus Boots to move Link 4 pixels per frame, which is very fast since the game runs at 60 frames per second. We can also immediately use them to perform a minor glitch on this version of the game, spin speed. So we saw both runners spin dash out of that overworld screen after touching a ladder. And it's a next frame kind of technique that they pull off, spinning and pressing A. Eri is doing it again at Library.
Yeah,
Well. Oh.
Yeah.
Buane's dashing instead.
Yes, of course. This is actually, I think, something typically that Eri doesn't do, at least in his most normal attempts. That he just normally dashes in, that we kind of see Buane did. But, Eri ended up having a very clean entry into the library, so definitely ended up kind of save a little bit of time there.
On the way out, both runners get spin speed and saves a bit more time on the way out.
Yeah, I think other than that, Buane missing his initial spin speed in the library screen, though, both runners' movement has been very clean so far. Dashing looks like, just slightly nudging everything so we can get some additional speed up by going off the slopes. And just seconds ahead of Buane. Yep, Eri is going to be the first of our 2 runners into Desert Palace.
And we see minor movement tech. For example, if you see a little puff of dust at the end of a staircase, for example, Buane pressed A to get stair lag cancel, and that can save 5 or 10 frames.
Is it really that high?
5 at least. I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, that's still quite a significant amount. I mean, 10 frames certainly is nothing to sneeze at, but even 5 is pretty significant.
It's just that it's pretty easy. I mean, there are ways to do it, either pressing left or right at the bottom or top of a staircase. And then when you have boots, it's pretty easy to just tap A. The lighter the tap, the better, because Link stops in place when you press A.
So speaking of some favored time saves, looks like both runners ended up getting some pretty good cannonball RNG. Didn't have to stop their dashes for anything. So, yeah.
And Buane picks up a blue rupee in the circle of pots. Eri does not stop for that.
No, Eri is like rich. He is like rolling in cash. The one red rupee that he picked up, I think, is gonna keep him, pretty satisfied for the entire run, or in the entire light world at least. Oh, Eri.
And
okay.
Eri gets a nice desert spin speed. Yeah, we were, yeah. So one of the more dangerous spin speeds to go for, since there is a ledge right next to the staircase, and if we were to hop off of that, we would lose a minute of the speedrun. So fortunately, both runners are, well controlled and can avoid jumping off. That's not something we really see in a tourney race.
Yeah, no, and especially for Eri, right? I mean, this is just part of his PB. Like, he is actually very, very consistent, despite how dangerous and scary it looks. Oh, these popos, though. Bullying Buane to not let him basically dash and pick up that pot.
Fantastic torches time for Eri, moving the wall, and at less than 16 minutes. So now we're approaching the landmo fight.
Yeah, Eri did bonk the wall for a setup, so we're going to try and watch how many cycles it's going to take. He had a pretty good first cycle. Reasonable cleanup on the second one. Hopefully it'll be 3. Yeah. Definitely pretty nice 3 cycle there for Eri. It's like Buane is also on his last cycle. Did you end up catching how many previously he had? Was it also 3?
Looked like 3 to me.
All right, so
I wasn't sure it would be, since he was kind of chasing the landmos on the second cycle, but the first cycle must have been really good.
Yeah. Well, so technically, I guess, yeah, so like the first cycle, despite it being a lot of different options and things, so like something like 24 different possible spawn ways, it is technically fixed, so you can kind of prepare for that. Oh, Buane! No! Buane! I'm trying to get Cactus Dash. Cactuses or cacti, I guess, are not letting him through. What I was gonna say, it's just to finish up. So of course, so the goal, of course, is to get as many shots as you can on the first one, because it is technically the most predictable. After that, everything is RNG based, and it kind of depends on how Lambo is feeling.
Yeah. So we're in the Hera segment, but both runners take a shortcut using fake flippers, tricking the game into allowing Link to swim while he does not have Zora's flippers. Before that, I'm just struck by this cactus dash that we saw from Buane. The penalty was 3 hearts of damage here, so Buane has lost half of his health meter and going for the trick. I believe it is a trick that he promised one of our fellow gamers, Dow TMB, and maybe others.
It's Dow's fault?
I don't know. It's no one's fault. I'm just saying Buane is a man of his word, and props for going for it.
You know, that is very true. I have never known Buane to be anything other than honorable, even at the cost of health and time in this case. But you know, of course, it's only a problem if Buane gets hurt, right?
Right.
Two hearts is plenty enough in order to get through Hera, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's a
that was unfortunate.
Yeah, Buane does take a death on the overworld. We do get to come back to life at the save warp that we've just earned from rescuing the old man.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like, if it was going to be a death, right, that's actually probably one of the best spots to die, because you are literally right next to the spawn point. Eri, going for Boom Dash, looks like second try is just as good as the first try. Does not, as a result, gets gated by the mini Moldorm, though, so maybe that was a blessing in disguise.
Really nice boom dash from Eri. Eri can take a break while waiting on the pegs. He has invincibility frames.
Yeah, so of course, you know, this is going to be the quote-unquote auto-scroller of our game. We only have to go through one tile room, guaranteed, and this is probably one of the only real ways in order to quote-unquote speed this up, because you don't have to hit the switch at the very end in order to get through the next room. Well, it looks like he's going to just opt to dance around with a pot. Certainly nothing wrong with not wanting to take a break. This is the NMG finals, right? I mean, you know, we can take a break after this run. We are just here to play.
Right. Meanwhile, Eri is climbing Tower of Hera. Nice Beatles room. He does lose the arrow drop, but that's okay. There will be more opportunities to pick up arrows.
See, early bomb jump on Eri's side, really nicely done. And this is something, of course, that he is pretty well practiced in.
And Eri had to be patient waiting for the Kadongo fire. And we can kind of clip the railing a little bit. Eri just had to hold forward against it until it was safe to...
Oh, wow, yeah. So Moldorm was really gunning for Eri. I was actually quite surprised that Eri didn't end up falling out, but Eri ended up dashing through Moldorm really well. Nicely done in order to kind of get out of that terrible left side situation. Recovers a really good fight otherwise.
Right, well contained by Eri. Good fight.
Buane here on 2 hearts of health. It's just probably, probably the most comfortable, or minimum that he needs, because you can always take one shot and still survive the fight. Just like what Buane demonstrated, and of course this isn't rando, so Buane does not have the double heartbeats on. So now this is 1-for-1, I think, where we get thank you Sang cards on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, that fight was pretty aggressive, and we got Buane knocked against the edge, and he was able to stay on the platform, which was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like despite kind of maybe like waiting for or trying to get Moldorm into a good position, neither Buane nor Eri fell, which definitely is going to be the more heftier of time sinks. Oh, Eri, with our first, it looks like unintentional bump, is going to make his way through to get to, with all 3 pendants, going to pull the Master Sword out of the pedestal. We did
Wow,
see him.
nice pickle shot from Buane. We have to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that, just like what Buane is doing, he is trying to kill 4 enemies, it looks like, after the initial tree rupee pull. So this is where we are going to pick off the rest of our cash.
Right, and we cannot get hit here. We have to avoid damage so we can earn the 3rd tier tree pull. And that cash will allow us entry into Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, and of course, the notable thing, or the unnotable thing, is that, we did not end up getting ambushed by anything underneath those bushes. So one of the things that we really want to be able to keep, of course, is our health, specifically right after we get the Master Sword and beyond. Just like Buane, he managed to dodge that guard that was coming after him, because once we get the Master Sword, we are able to kind of use sword beams, and we really would like to be able to keep them in order to speed up Agatower. Not to mention on Buane's side, where he actually hasn't pulled the true rupees yet, so if he had taken damage then, he would have basically had to go do a backup, because those red rupees would no longer be there.
Alright, we're going into Aghanim's tower. Nice gold knights from Eri.
Yeah, and we're seeing the benefits of sword beams immediately on Eri's side.
Right, it really helps a lot of rooms in Agatower to have sword beams. They have to be well controlled because they will alert guards in this dark maze. But we do want to alert enemies later. It's just so hard to maintain full health here. Eri is maintaining full health all the way through.
Yeah, I guess it's like really difficult, right, to be able to try and kill something and not slash your sword, and also be able to take that. I mean, so Buane in this case ended up dashing a couple of very short segments, right, in order to kill the bat, and luckily the bats don't do more than one, I think they do a quarter heart damage, so it looks like he's able to get out of that dark hallway or maze relatively intact.
Right, and Eri is at Circle of Pots and is able to pause buffer to boomerang and clear the room quickly. Unfortunately, the Neapolitan room he got frame ruled and just took a hit on the dash.
I mean, luckily at this point though, like the damage is somewhat more negligible, right? Because we don't really need our sword beams anymore. It's just kind of more of a annoyance, right? That you have to kind of lose your health and lose a little bit more time. Buane unfortunately did not get some friendly guard movement in Circle of Pots though, so had to take a slight backup route in order to get our key.
Yeah, but the boom stun was still good, and he was able to kill the middle guard to reach the key. All right, we have the Aghanim fight for Eri. This fight is all RNG. There's nothing we can meaningfully do to speed up the fight, although we can knock Aghanim toward the middle. That's pretty much the only strategy.
Yeah, no, that's what
our runners will go for.
So I think, was that the first blue ball on Eri's side?
Looks like it.
Okay. and Buane is just starting off. So of course, just for some context, the very first game from Winners Finals that Eri faced off against Buane had 0 blue balls, and Eri unfortunately had a little bit more circles to his name, and ended up with 8 blue balls as a differential. The second game, it was a bit more even. I think Eri had 1 blue ball versus Buane's 4. So both runners, I think, said whatever happens, it doesn't matter how many we get so long as it's relatively equal.
You're seeing a lot of blue balls on Eri's side. More than average.
Also Buane's side.
It looks like this might be 3 if I count correctly. Yeah, 3 and 7. 3 and 7. So we know it's 3 and 7, even without counting, because 3 and 7 occur after the lightning strike. If Aghanim dies after the lightning strike cycle, then it might be a 3 or it might be a 7.
Wow, that is some cool game knowledge.
And yeah, it just so happened to be easy to count in this particular race.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you. Well, so I guess like if you knew that, you really want to be on the 3 side versus the 7 side. But
yeah.
Just like that, like both runners after Aghanim are pretty much in the dark world. Within like mere seconds of each other.
It's as if the game knew.
Yeah, that's
and it
right.
wants us to watch a Dark World RTA Grand Finals. This is great.
That is amazing. Runs are. I've heard that runs are made in the Dark World. Unfortunately, Eri ended up getting some unfortunate bomb explosions from the Hinox, so we'll knock him back on just a little bit more time, but certainly nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, our runners are on their way to Palace of Darkness. Here is Kiki the monkey, who we are paying 110 rupees to. And nice Kiki dash from Buane and Eri. You get to skip a few steps of the cutscene by having Kiki follow Link all the way into the cutscene, all the way into Link's position before the cutscene.
It's only fair that they can share the speed, right? In this speedrun.
Right. It's yeah. In this speedrun, it's good that we run at Link speed, not at cutscene speed.
Yeah. Actually, like, I think all of our followers are at least amenable to speeding things up, right? I think with the exception of the old man Buane, just get that arrow drop from the Bari as he jumped down. Man, that is some good pickup.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing we can do about speeding up our walk with the old man, really. Alright, so it's all about picking up keys in the best order, picking up bombs along the way. We are getting the big key, and then we are off to find the magic hammer. And we will be using a minor glitch to get that. That is called the hammer jump, and it is one of the 2 most difficult bomb jumps in this run. So there may be a bit of buffering of Link's movement, and we'll see how our runners handle it.
Yeah, you did mention this is one of the 2 most difficult. It's also probably one of the 2 most important ones that you end up getting. It ends up saving like a significant amount of time. Not quite a minute, but still. Eri, jeez, with a really nice bomb jump there.
Yeah, Buane unfortunately may have been a pixel too low from my point of view, and unfortunately ran out of time to readjust.
Yeah, otherwise makes it through well. So, Buane, luckily still only is down 3 hearts. So he is actually going to be able to, once he's in the same room as Eri, end up picking up all 3 hearts in order to get back his sword beams for the back and the basement of pod. Eri showing us a very smooth statue move in order to save just a little bit more time there.
And a correction from FSG. FSG is saying Buane's setup for bomb jump may have been a pixel high the whole time, so an adjustment may not have been possible. It is double pixel perfect, so we have to have the initial bomb planted on the right pixel, and then Link's movement has to be, a little bit above on the right pixel axis for both.
I would like to also point out that Buane is like swimming in arrows at this point. He also ended up getting a 5 arrow drop from the red mimics.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, versus Eri, which he has not had the same amount of luck.
We have minor time saves from Eri. We're seeing him push into the warp tile. So the game does not have to draw Link's shield. When we can avoid drawing the shield, we save frames because of the additional lag that is brought into the game.
Yeah, it's actually really amazing how much lag that little shield can cause. Eri and Buane starting out the Helmsor fight, it looks like they both armed their spin speed so they can extend that hammer's hitbox. Buane also getting some pretty good positioning from Helmsor King towards the back so he doesn't have to suffer as much knockback.
Okay.
Yeah, very aggressive fight, but super fast on Buane's side.
Yeah, Buane took a bop, but was able to recover well. Eri, no problem at all. Was able to get the 4 hammer hits at the end without pausing.
Yeah, the fact that remind me, I guess, like when the arming spin speed was discovered. Was it earlier this year? Was it last year? Something like that. It was semi-recent, right?
Yeah, it was in a recent year.
Yeah. But so like once you arm spin speed, and you can actually extend the hammer's hitbox to what the sword's hitbox is. And if you ever tried to hammer any direction really with that hammer, you know that the sword hitbox is significantly larger and more consistent. So definitely made this fight a lot less dangerous than what it used to be.
Yeah, it's very peculiar because this game is extremely well made from a gameplay perspective. It's just so fun to move Link. And a lot of the combat is exceptional relative to other games. But for some reason, the hammer is not meant for heavy combat, especially in the upward direction.
Yeah. Despite that, the hammer does 10% more damage, right? So it's really tempting to want to use it, right? It's just that you have to pay a pretty hefty price for it.
Yeah, I think it's clearly intentionally meant to be like a short, awkward weapon, but it's just peculiar that it is so, short range in that direction. So anyway, we're in the Thieves' Overworld here. So
yeah,
this is a very long overworld. It takes us about 3 minutes to get to the next dungeon. And we are digging up our flute. Eri gets it in one dig, very nice.
You may think that it's very natural to do one dig, but sometimes you just get so excited with that shovel that you just really want to keep digging. We don't even get to play digging in this run.
And we have an important spin speed right here. We use it to bypass Usain Bolt, the fastest guard in Hyrule. And we do not want to miss that spin speed or have to fight this guard.
Yeah, not only is that guard going to do 1 heart of damage to you, and the fact that he is pretty fast and is basically lasered focus on you is going to cost you, quite a bit of health. It's also going to cost you quite a bit of time as well.
And, yeah, we do save time using the minor glitches in this game. This is the 1.0 Japanese version that our runners play on. A lot of the time save compared to the English language version is in the text. It's in the text boxes. So we do save the most amount of time just from having less text to mash. But it is a very fun game, just with the addition of minor glitches that we can put to use. It gives us additional movement tech.
Yeah, like item dashing, right? Is something exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version?
Right. We didn't mention it, but also in this overworld was a hammer dash where we bypassed 3 pegs in a row, just to get to the South Dark World.
It's really satisfying to be able to hammer multiple pegs like that. We are going to probably see a couple more instances of item dashing. Most notably is going to be, I think, in... so once we end up getting the hook shot, we are going to be able to hook dash. It's going to not only kind of take the place in place of spin sweep, make the tech slightly easier, I guess, to manage, but then also we can do some hook dashing in the back of Swamp, right, to get us to that statue and end up picking up on a couple plots or something.
Exactly.
Oh, Eri.
It's not just a minor glitch because it has a minor use. It's just
that's right.
it's just not significantly game breaking or sequence breaking kind of technique.
Alright, so it looks like at least both runners, relatively speaking, got through the hallway pretty much unfazed, right? Unfortunately, did not get the desired lineup or the desired enemy pattern, so couldn't actually just dash through in one go. But having only lost like 1 heart of damage on each side is definitely pretty good. This is that hallway you can very easily lose like 3 to 4 hearts of your health, and this is not something that you want to do kind of facing, especially like towards the basement of Thieves Town, where everything pretty much does 2 hearts of damage to you. Not to mention there's an upcoming conveyor belt room, which also could be quite dangerous if it doesn't go properly.
Yeah, we're in the Dark World. Enemies begin to do much more damage here. Thankfully, this dungeon does not have enemies that really get in our way too much. They can be handled in a fairly predictable way. We'll be talking about more difficult RNG later.
Yeah, Eri gets through that conveyor belt room very, very well. The Baris not only decided not to electrocute, they also did not get in his way. It's hopefully something will... it looks like, unfortunately, it didn't quite hold true for Buane, but Buane is able to kind of read the timing pretty well on the Bar's electrocution. So he is able to dash through and kill the Bar, as opposed to, getting stopped in mid-electrocution. Always is really sad when you get electrocuted and then you get some knockback from that electrocution and you fall off the conveyor belt.
Nice blind fight from Eri.
Yeah. Did we just miss a scripted blind fight on Eri's side?
Yeah, blink and you miss it. It is simply a 9-hit boss. It's scripted in that we can use roughly the same movement patterns every time, and we know how and when it'll end. Same from Buane, very nice.
Yeah, and of course, both runners, you saw the blind kind of ended at the upper left side of the screen. It shows that they've definitely followed the script very well. Not to mention they didn't take any damage too.
Exactly. It's a chaotic fight casually with the fireballs, the lasers, blinds heads, and the body as well. But we don't have to worry about all that if we just follow the pattern.
Yeah, it is actually a very dangerous fight. Otherwise, it's something, if you go off script, or unfortunately your blind kind of gets away from you, and you end up taking a death, that refight is significantly harder. We did mention that blind can actually be pretty damaging, so blind's head, I think, is 2 hearts, lasers are 2 hearts, I think, fireballs are 1 heart, and he's no longer predictable. So you kind of have to basically start reacting to everything that he does, which is really not fun. Well, okay, let me take that back. It still might be fun. It just may not be fun in terms of a time saving and speedrunning perspective.
Next up is Skullwoods. So we will be earning the Tempered Sword here after rescuing a frog from the Dark World, which has its true form as the missing smith at the blacksmith's hut. And we earn the final sword that we will be using in this run. And it handles bosses a lot more quickly. We'll be able to beat the boss of this dungeon in 4 hits, maybe even 3 if one doubles. And it is especially useful for the Ganon fight.
Oh yeah. So both of those of you who've maybe played some version of like randomizer or just like low percent, we do know that it's possible to technically kill Ganon on Master Sword, but you definitely experience the significant time speed up as opposed to when you have Master Sword Ganon versus Temper Sword Ganon. Now, of course, you may think that, both runners ended up picking up 300 rupees right before paying off the smith in order to purchase that tempered sword, which only costs 10. It is not overkill. We are actually just merely planning for our next major purchase in life.
Mm-hmm. A new car?
Yeah, or a new house, right?
Right. After this segment, we will be visiting King Zora for Zora's Flippers.
Buane and Eri demonstrating making the statue room look so easy. Everything went pretty well for them. Eri ended up also getting early bomb jump here in Skull Woods, no pause buffers, just a really good display of execution. It's like seemingly so easy when you watch these guys do it because oh yeah, like that looks doable, and then you go try it and it actually involves quite a lot of practice.
Ooh. Yeah, and we can see how it can go wrong. On Buane's side, Buane struggling to get the early. Okay, gets it on the 3rd try. So this will be hurtful to Buane's resources. He's down to 2 bombs.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. Sometimes that when bomb jumps fail, right? The primary focus is usually on the health, right? Because you have to take 1 heart of damage per every failure. But we also are actually quite, I won't say super tight on resources, but it's certainly something to be very conscious of. And bombs are really one thing that you never want to run out of. Because it actually can be kind of a run-breaking ending if you end up kind of running out of bombs where you need it to be, like, for example, in Ice Palace. Or in Misery Mire if you end up not getting spooky.
Yeah. Alright. Eri falls into the Mocula fight. And dispatches Mocula quickly.
Yeah, blazing fight. Looks like he did unfortunately get a little bit of caught up there, but the Gipto, just like where Buane is, Buane managed to get the key relatively well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eri had lost a couple of seconds by being too fast and missing the key. Buane does not have a good pattern to work with here. The moth is staying at the top of the screen, and we can't damage the moth at the top because it resists damage when hit against the spikes.
Yeah, that was really that was just really unfair. You know, like it looked actually like a really good start. I think Buane got the poke dash or the dash poke at the very beginning, and then Moth just went up in that corner and just refused to come down.
All right, next up is Ice Palace. We are preparing with some items first of all, and so Eri has the flute on hand for that for those initial screens, and is actually fixing his fire rod in a way that we'll see in the first room of Ice Palace. But it has to do with the values that are stored to create the area of effect of the fire rod.
Yeah, and audibly confirmed here on Buane's side. It's like Buane, so I definitely saw that Eri got the quick warp over here to the Dark World. Looks like Buane did as well. Some quick warps, like what Eri's going to demonstrate right here. Oh, he gets quick fish. Really nicely done. Some setups for quick warps to warp over from Light World, Dark World. It's a pretty free setup. For example, a catfish. You can just block the right rock and then pick up the thing, pick up the quick medallion, and then you are right on the quick warp pile. The one that enters in from the portal and the castle gate is a little bit more difficult to set up because it's not an immediate like setup. You can kind of like nudge yourself for a frame or two.
Yeah, the quick warps have a lot of different setups. For whatever reason, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of geometry and layouts. A lot of different cues for us to take a look at, and I don't know, it's I might be wrong, but I think there are 2 pixels every 8 pixels in the horizontal direction where you have a quick warp opportunity. So you want to always use the mirror or walk into a portal in that 2 pixel window. And it'll save half a second every time. Alright, so Eri swimming toward Ice Palace has a Zora in the way, but it's close enough where he can slash it out of his way.
Yeah, it looks like Eri, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Eri was actually trying to be patient with that Zora to make sure that he does not take any damage. Because we would really like to be able to keep sword beams for Ice Palace, specifically for this room and the conveyor one upcoming.
Right, and so let's see. I always want to look at the screen. Buane has nothing in the way. That's good.
Yeah, Buane. All the enemies just, heard that Buane was coming, and they were like, "Nope, I don't want to deal with any of this. Get me out of here."
All right, we have the bombable floor. We have to deal with these electrocuting jellies. The Bari stay out of Eri's way, so that's a good thing. They can interrupt your bomb timing, which is really obnoxious.
Yeah, and so Eri also demonstrating on this conveyor room belt a really nice strat to why we would like to be able to have sword beams. Of course, any really time that you're facing Baris, you really want sword beams for, because you want to kill them before they can shock you. Just like that Bari, man. Oh, that is an unfortunate Bari movement. I guess he wanted to get up close and personal to Buane.
Right. So Buane knows that he's out of bombs. He has to menu to bombs now, and he has to pick up bombs from the Stolfos Knights so that he can so he can do the next bomb jump. So those missed bomb jumps did add up in this segment.
Alright, Ares gonna beat down his cool steer fight. It's pretty standard phase 1, 8 fire rod shots, but super nice phase 2 for cool steer. Couple of sword spins and a spin and a slash and we don't have any more cool steer pots anymore. There were 3 there, fight. Right?
We don't really. There were 3 pups. Yeah, at one point. That's true. That's true. Yeah, we don't typically call that a scripted fight, even though it kind of is in the same way, because you just follow the, one particular movement pattern, one of 2 or 3, but the one that we saw from Eri was particularly consistent. The dash, the single poke, and it's just a much tighter script. Let's watch Buane.
Buane's
same deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this, these cool steer fights, they make it look super, super easy. It is a very, very dangerous fight if it can kind of get out of hand. But obviously, Buane and Eri are no strangers to them and just finish off cold spears so fast. Alright, so I think this is actually where we're going to end up potentially seeing some divergence in terms of routing. And yes, amazingly, there is actually divergence in a speedrun. We are actually going to see Eri go directly to Swamp Palace with the equipment that he has. We are probably going to see Buane, though, unless he's changed his routing, head up to Death Mountain. And he's going to pick up a couple of items. Well, first off, at least Death Mountain's going to pick up the Ether Medallion, and then he's going to head over to Ice Rod Cave to pick up the aptly named Ice Rod.
So, Buane, it's on Death Mountain. We've seen how dangerous this mountain is before. But it's okay.
He is here on 11 hearts, right? What could possibly go wrong with this much health at this point?
We could take damage, but it's okay if we did, because Swamp Palace is not a big damage dungeon. It's okay if we take a heart of damage here and there. That's what happens anyway. But it's the second crystal of the Dark World. We're just doing it after collecting quite a few more hearts and a stronger sword. So we're a bit overpowered. So we're seeing Eri navigate Swamp Palace. It has quite a different feel from the other dungeons. We're moving slow through the water. When we dash, it's only at 3 pixels per frame, as opposed to 4. We walk slowly.
Yeah, there are not a lot of places. Yeah, there are not a lot of places in Swamp Palace where, unlike kind of like Desert or like Thieves Town, right? There are a lot of like long hallways that really lets you, exercise the full power of the boost. Here, it's almost like this is like the anti-boost dungeon, right? Everything's like super short. It's not like very much, a lot of movement or places that you can really kind of like stretch your legs for.
No, there's no extra leg room at all. We have to round corners to get around one switch so we can hit another switch from a different angle. It's a little bit tricky.
Looks like Buane has finished his item pickup, and he got his Ice Rod, he got his Ether. Now, of course, despite picking those items up right now, he is not going to probably use any of those items in Swamp Palace. So you actually might be wondering, why did Buane opt to get these items right before Swamp Palace? Because we're not going to need them in Swamp Palace. So, of course, part of the reason, as you said, Chex, is that before Swamp, we don't have to worry too much about health. Right, so if we end up going to a very, very dangerous Step Mountain, which we did see that claimed Buane's life earlier, if we're going in here with, let's say, like 9 hearts or 8 hearts, as opposed to like the 11 that we have now, it's probably not going to be a big deal. And of course, right before Misery Mire, which is requisite as Ether for the entry medallion, we would really like to be able to keep full health because that is going to be another entry site where we would like to keep our sword beams. Now, of course, then a question could be, why wouldn't you ever, why wouldn't you just do your shopping now, always? Well, I guess the benefit, of course, is that we just see Eri pick up the prize of Swamp Palace, which is the hookshot, and some people would like to item dash with the hookshot and get hook speed, a little bit nicer than spin speed. And it's just a nice demonstration of why hook speed is, or hook dashing is useful.
Right. Right, and like you mentioned earlier, there's a minor use of hook dash where we can get into a state where Link picks up the pot from behind the statue. It's just an interesting priority that Link achieves. Alright, so Eri is in the refill room. He picks up both the bomb and the arrows. He has a backup bomb now for Mire. Buane, however, is at 0 bombs, and so if he wants a backup bomb, he will have to pick up 1, not 2, but 1.
Yeah, and maybe in a PB attempt, having a backup bomb probably isn't going to, I guess, matter too much. But in a tournament race, you really want to make sure that you have 1 bomb as backup, I guess, before you kind of enter Misery Mire. So you can bomb the wall in order to get the switch in case something goes wrong with Spooky. So I think we just saw a 0 cycle Argus on Eri's side, and pretty fast.
He missed it.
Oh, he did.
He
miss
got
it?
1 cycle. It looked really good, but it must have been something to do with maybe hooking a little bit late or something like that. We saw a hook downwards.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, so 0 cycle is certainly very difficult to execute. You do need a little bit of cooperation from Argus, and he doesn't always have to be nice to you.
Yeah, if we can boil down boss fights to having a single trick that is the hardest to pull off, it's the 0 cycle. Because like you said, there's RNG we have to navigate, as well as pulling off a hook dash. And if for some reason, in this case, in this state, Link's sword gets slash power rather than poke level power. So we can kill each puff upon retraction. Okay,
did Eri just get dead rocked? Oh no.
We got dead rocked.
This is just like you just waste 8 seconds here basically. Oh, is he gonna get dead rocked again?
More.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, double dead rock.
Oh dude, no. This is not what you want to see in any run, tournament or otherwise. Eri couldn't even get off the screen.
He's 4 hearts down. It's time to refill hearts.
I'm not sure if Eri has actually stopped by the old man to refill hearts this game.
The old man has played a significant role in this speedrun today.
Yeah, I mean, he was there for Buane when Buane unfortunately took a couple extra hits from the boulders early on in the light world, and he is here for Eri after some unfortunate wilderness.
1 cycle for Buane. Finishes Argus at the top of the room. And it saves frames on the crystal catch.
Yeah, that was a really, really clean fight on Buane's side. Oh, Eri. Oh my gosh, dude, these crabs. I'm not really sure what happened there, but Eri is actually going to be down quite a significant amount of health going into Mire.
That's very, very, very bad luck. To be hit by a crab on the dash to the left, it just doesn't happen. And, of course, you know, we've been speedrunning this game for years. There's gonna be something we don't see every now and then, and that's one of those things.
Yeah, that, I mean, Ice Rod Cave area is, you know, probably one of the most dangerous places of the entire Light World because Ice Rod is so powerful, and you know, they kind of want to deter you early on from going there too early, and this is, we are suffering the consequences now that we see crabs do 2 hearts of damage.
Why do they do 2 hearts of damage? Yeah. They're Light World enemies.
Exactly.
That was more damage than we started out with. Even with Sankheart.
I guess they really, really didn't want you to get that ice rod. Yeah, so we're kind of seeing, you know, Eri have to kind of resort to using the fire rod. Unfortunately, because we don't have sword beams, this room is not probably how you are maybe used to, you know, how this room ends up going. Buane though is gonna have probably a much more different time, probably more well versed, having full health and the fire rod out.
Yeah, this is why the ether, this is why what we call swamp collection is valuable because of this kind of consistency.
That, you know, and that is one thing that I think Buane is very much a favor of, is consistency. Like, you actually do see that, you know, Buane at least has a very, very fast time, right? He certainly had 123 time for a PB. There are going to be some things that though he just opts to take for consistency over, I guess, like more speed. You actually see that, for example, like he just kind of stands still and waits for the bird to pick him up. He doesn't actually do anything else that's really fancy. He does 2 sword spins, you know, for phase 2 Argus, even though I think Fire Rod is technically faster, but it's just less consistent. And yeah, I mean, so, you know, if especially if getting your shopping done in Swamp Palace, that segment, is going to be more consistent, I could definitely understand why Buane goes for that.
That's right. Buane is not a frame hero, more of a consistency hero. Right, so Eri has the big key, and so does Buane. Now we will be collecting the Cane of Samaria, the last major item in the game that we'll be using. Very interesting item. It creates blocks. The blocks can do all kinds of things. And in this dungeon, we'll be using it to hold down a switch.
I can also, I guess, like mess up your spooky variable if you don't end up kicking up dust or something.
Oh, right. So, yeah, when we put down a block, the game knows that it has a certain altitude, and for some reason, some of the items share these values. So what we found out that we can do in 2018, around the time of the last NMG tournament, was that we can manipulate the area of effect of the fire rod. And our runners leave the screen where the duck drops us off so that we have a certain altitude, and we can keep that value stored. And we are using it for 3 rooms in a row where we shoot our fire rod, and its AOE hits the crystal switch half a room away, and it's able to let us through 12 seconds faster than we used to. And shoutouts to Steven for calming so many matches of the last NMG tourney, and he was able to explain this so well.
Nice. So Eri took on Vitreous. Pretty textbook fight. Like had a couple eyeballs left. So he had to clean up. Buane, though, on the other hand, no eyeball is safe. No cleanup necessary. I think he was even prepared in order to get a couple of extra eyeballs, but no arrows, no extra arrows needed. And then it's just eight to the big one. We actually see a pretty significant difference based on by arrow count, actually by resource count in general, right? Buane has 1 bomb ready to go versus 20 arrows, partially helped by the fact that he got 2 5-arrow drops from enemies, I think Bari and the Mimics, whereas Eri, I think, has a slightly less resources, but certainly very manageable at this point.
Yeah, at the beginning of the Vitreous fight, we have to watch out for where the first eyeball approaches us. It's mostly the same patterns right up until after the 3rd spin, and then we have to watch the eyeballs to see how we clean it up. So we hope for the same fight every time, but we just have to watch RNG a little bit more than we would in a scripted fight.
Yeah, and of course, so both runners ended up going into Vitreous fights with 7 hearts. It's probably the most comfortable. You end up seeing that despite the fact that in order to avoid the 4 hearts of damage from the little eyeballs, they end up taking 1 heart of damage from the slime that surrounds them, using the iframes in order to be able to really get in the thick of the eyeballs in order to sword spin them. Alright, so Buane and Eri climbing Death Mountain up for the final time. Eri even gets the quick warp, the totally free quick warp, going into Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, got dead rocked once again. Nothing major this time, but he is going to go into Turtle Rock without sword beams. This one is probably more minor. We would just like to be able to sword beam our way, sword beam the Baris away, so they don't get in our way. But our Eri doesn't have that problem today because the Baris are just kind of floating, in the middle of the void, just kind of minding their own business. That Bari was coming for Buane. Buane luckily had sword beams. He is just going to be able to take care of them. We did see Eri do a slight damage boost off of the roller just to get through that room slightly faster. And yes, despite the fact that rollers do 3 hearts of damage, we can damage boost for the one reason, if nothing else, that we are able to get the a fairy drop from the Pokey that completely refills our health. But of course, oh my gosh, Chops are one of the most difficult final bosses of this game. Oh man, sorry Eri.
It was going Eri's way.
Yeah,
he had sword beams going in, but the sword, he didn't have the lineup for beams, and then they got in the way even more.
Yeah, I'm wondering if is Eri gonna have enough magic? I guess like for the end. Oh yes, of course he's gonna have magic because he just got a full magic refill. All right.
That's right. The magic refill was our next drop from the Pokies, so that was something we could count on. there, and even if we didn't get it, there would be a small magic in double pokies. That would be slow, but it would have had.
Oh yeah,
to,
that's true.
It would he would have had to use that as a backup.
Really, anytime.
Basically, or switch to a boomerang or something to get through a room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like, looks like Eri has to unfortunately take 2 slashes, just kind of based on poking movement, but it really... Another fairy? Yeah, but like, anytime that you see a room with pokies, you kind of want to get out of, like, as fast as you possibly can. And of course, one of the reasons why we would like to have full health is specifically for this room, Crystal Roller Room, is if you have sword boots, you can actually just use them instead of Kena Samaria and just get through this room like half a second faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier too.
Not to mention, of course, right, health in Turtle Rock, you know, and really most of the later Dark World dungeons is always going to be to your benefit. So certainly at this point, in Ice Palace and beyond, the game is kind of expecting you to have the Blue Mail, which was the dungeon prize for Ice Palace, and we're still on Green Mail. But of course, the game doesn't know that, and the game just says, oh, well, you have more defense, well, let me crank up the offense. And yeah, pretty much everything in Turtle Rock does like 4 parts of damage at this point. So, despite the fact that the health bar looks pretty full, it can go away pretty quickly.
We saw Buane go for an early laser bridge strat, but he didn't get the lineup. Or the beetle was in the way, so he went for an alternate.
Not very far behind Eri though, going into his Trinix fight, whereas Eri looks like he just finished a pretty clean phase 1, doing some backdoor strats. Gonna go for a fast phase 2, it's gonna be a sword spin and a slash. Couple more slashes just as good, did not end up getting hurt at all. Buane on his phase 2 looks like he ended up getting just only needed 1 more slash in order to kill Shrinix phase 2, but man, these guys are very, very close picking up their last crystal. It looks like Eri's gonna probably be one of the first ones out of Turtle Rock and onto Ganon's Tower.
Okay, we've earned our last crystal. We rescued Zelda from... Well, I don't know if it counts as rescuing the the maidens, but we do win our last crystal, and with the power of the 7 crystals, we can enter Ganon's Tower, and we get to play the Ganon's Tower segment, which is the most fun part of the speedrun. It's a very challenging dungeon. It's split up into more of a puzzle-based and movement-based basement, where we earn that big key, and then more of a combat-based upper tower, where we will fight the boss.
Oh yeah,
at the very top.
Yeah, I mean this dungeon, you know, as you said, Chucks, right? This place is pretty much like a conglomerate of everything they've kind of gone through in terms of like puzzle solving and like execution, especially execution.
Yeah, for newer runners of this game, there's always time to save in Ganon's Tower. There are so many rooms. It's the strats are very tricky, and there's just something to learn in every single room. A lot of and you know, there are different kinds of strats, there are different kinds of movements that are more optimal than others. Here in the fire snake room, for example, Eri starts with a bonk. We often see players hook to the right to avoid the first fire snake.
Yeah, I think there are also some strats that are more subtle because you just kind of because the movement is just so fluid. Because I think when Eri ended up hooking down in order to get to the south of those rooms, he ended up getting spike skip as well. And if you don't do it like pretty much immediately, like it just almost like seems very natural, and you're just gonna miss it. Eri dropping his extra bombs that he doesn't need just so we can get essentially a free menu over to the next item. So many arrows now on both sides. Oh, okay. Very up close and personal with that Armos, but otherwise very, very fast fight on Eri's side. So many so many arrows. He doesn't even need any extra arrows from the chest, and able to just skip, save actually a couple of seconds in order to skip that chest. We do need, so Eri is going to be the first one to the upstairs. We're going to need 8 arrows at least in order to be able to kill these mimics. Hopefully only 8. Oh, of course, he gets a 10 drop too.
Buane got the chest as well. I was surprised to see.
He's got so many arrows he doesn't probably even know what to do with. Having a couple extra arrows for the gauntlet. We can
go fight Armos again.
Oh yeah, let's go do that. Wait, does that mean we need to mirror out, right? So Armos can respawn?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I think it just respawns when you go to the room. I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah. All right, we're in the gauntlet. 5 rooms of kill rooms. Basically, we have to defeat all the enemies. Nice arrow strat for G4.
Yeah, I was gonna say it always does help to have a couple of extra arrows at least, just because some projectiles, especially if you don't have something like sword beams, is going to be really helpful in order to try and give the enemies kind of more corralled.
Okay, Lambo 2. Ooh, phase 1 was not friendly.
Yeah, we got some short hops as well. Unfortunate. But, Eri does manage to recover, pretty nicely on the second cycle. Of course, with the Cadence Samaria, not only does it, okay, take frame rule. I was gonna say, not only does it let you, create blocks, it lets you also explode blocks, being able to kill these Wizzrobes in one shot. Eri,
yeah, great to see.
Yeah, just enough magic in order to get through this room. And also, waiting until the magic's completely refilled from that pot before firing off the fire rod, so he doesn't get the extra, you don't have enough magic to use that text box.
Right, watch your magic meter.
Alright, so with that bomb throw, that is the last of we'll ever see a bomb on Eri's side.
Nice chest key for Eri. There are one of 3 keys we can choose from to get through that door. So we typically see the chest key. We can pick up a heart along the way. Hopefully we don't get hit by an anti-fairy, and it's pretty consistent.
Oh no! We talk about hitboxes a lot in this game, and it doesn't often come up that the bomb's hitbox is, kind of like that. Because normally, like the hammer typically takes the star stage of that, right? But yeah, every once in a while the bomb doesn't go off the way you want it to, and you have to go get another one, unfortunately.
Okay, Aghanim 2 for Eri. This is a very, very challenging fight to optimize. We have to react to the RNG and achieve the right angle for these hits. Aries' fight didn't start off the way he wanted. It looks like he cleaned up at a 4 cycle.
At least he got fewer blue balls this time around, right? Despite the fact that there are 3 or 2 extra Agnums.
Right. On that fight, we can watch the blue balls and watch out for them on specific cycles. On the 1st and 4th cycle, we know that we will not get blue balls.
Oh, Buane did end up letting a triple on the first one. That was really good because I was worried that 2 shots ended up counting as 1, but he gets through 3 cycles.
All right, and we have Eri on the Ganon fight. So we do not have silver arrows, but that's okay. We have the tempered sword. That's all we need here. Nice 1-1 for Eri. He's on to phase 3. And here, we're going to hope for very few warps. There is a chance every cycle that Ganon will warp around the screen. And it just wastes time.
Yeah, just like we saw on the Agnum 1 fight and the Agnum 2 fight, and soon to be on Buane's side for phase 3, the warps are not seeded. Both runners, despite playing the same game, RNG can actually be a factor here.
Nice cape spin from Eriror. Getting up
Also
the spike slightly.
Yeah, also very happy to see him getting Torch Glitch for Game 3. Unfortunately, he has not always managed to get Torch Glitch on Game 2, despite how actually taking a victory in that.
Ooh,
but,
very challenging angle for Buane.
With that,
and
though,
Ganon is... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, Eri is done. He has gotten all of his sword spins in, silver spins in for Ganon. He is literally waiting and crossing this bridge, claiming first place in the NMG 2021 Grand Finals, taking a 2-1 win over Buane. He wins the entire thing. GG's, Eri.
GG. Buane defeats Ganon as well.
Buane, yeah, very, very shortly behind Eri. I mean, this is like so let's see. I will say Eri finished with a 125.11. Buane, get your GGs out in chat for Buane. Finishes in 2nd place, also with a 125 time.
GG's.
GG's. That clip is so good from Buane. What a race. I mean, we definitely saw, just highlights of execution throughout. Can't believe it. This was the last race, Chucks. You think they want to go again for like best of 5 or something?
Yeah, let's check in with our tourney admins and see. Oh wait, Buane. Okay, no, let's keep the rules how they are. I like this.
And we've got our tournament winner right here. Congratulations on winning, Eriror.
GG's, Eri. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Oh boy.
What a run.
I was sweating it at Meyer.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah,
how were you feeling in Meyer?
Not great. I mean, imagine it was the fall. Like after Swan Ball, this Dark Ball has been really good. Like I wonder if I just keep doing it like this, like in 123. Well, then I dead rock myself twice. I was like, okay, well, that's whatever. I can just go in. This is still fine.
Oh yeah.
Refill my hearts.
Yeah.
And then I get cramped twice. It's like, oh no. Oh no. So that was my thought process.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, both of you struggled with different parts of this run, so that got a little scary, but you're able to maintain a lead. But yeah, it must have been nerve-wracking the whole way through.
Yeah, especially because I didn't exactly know how far ahead I was with Buane after Swamp, because he already did his errands. So like while I was doing my errands, I just saw like Buane finishing Swamp, getting into the cutscene, and I just kept getting beat up. It was rough. Anyway, hey Buane, GG's.
Yo, GG's.
GG, Buane.
Yo, Buane, GG's.
That was a grand final.
It was either going to be both of us are going to have disasters, or both of us are going to have to run off our lives, right? So, I guess it was the first one this time.
It would have been nice to be the other way around. If I have to choose between the two, I know which one I would pick.
Yeah.
No, but it's fine. Like
It gave us a lot to talk about. More content.
Sure.
That's right.
Yes. Turns out when you lose 20 seconds in every split, there's probably a lot of things to point out.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, this was probably definitely my worst run of the tournament. But you know, I actually have been surprised by my consistency in the tournament so far. So you know, you don't want to think that you're due for one of these, but it was just sloppy from start to finish. I just was really never able to get on track. I've had some bad light worlds in the tournament. I've had some Hera disasters. And I've been able to right the ship for the most part in Dark World in my runs, and just really could never really get it on track. Just too many mistakes and too much slop all over the place, and you know, it's gonna happen sometimes. It would have taken a good run, high quality run to beat Eri most of the time, and I just did not have the high quality run in me today.
So, can you tell us about Cactus Dash?
So I guess I moved. So like this is example like 10,000 of why you don't really put stuff in your runs that you've never really practiced and know well. I've done Cactus Dash before, but I guess I moved after hitting the ground on the jump down, and usually you get your dash started while being pushed out of the wall.
Right.
Because it looked like I had it, and it looked like I was going to go through, and I just hit it, and I was like, is that some weird frame rule? So I tried to dash again, and I was like, well, now I don't know what to do.
I see.
We tried to dash again. I must have been 1 pixel too high, and I did try to move down with the last one, but at that point I was so flustered I just kept smashing into it. So that's like the new Cactus Dash, where you just run into the cactus 3 times and then die on the mountain.
Cactus bounce.
I think that's gonna catch on, yeah. But that, I mean, it's completely on me. Like, you need to know like things to look out for. Hey, if I've moved after I hit the ground, don't go over Cactus Dash. You need to know, okay, I failed Cactus Dash. What's the safe way to get out of here? Because usually when I fail Cactus Dash, it's like I'm standing there, I clearly am not going to get it, and the sand guy hits you, and you use the iframes to get through. But that's not what was happening. I was literally just smashing into the cactus thinking I was going to get past. So, you know, just don't be an idiot, and the game will treat you right. I didn't even really lose as much time as it felt like I lost. Like, that was 20-ish seconds, probably a little less than 20 seconds, that whole debacle on the overworld. So, like, it was still a playable run. It was still a playable race, especially with Aga kind of evening things out a little bit. Then Dark World was just so bad. Like, everything in Dark World except for Thebes was just really not up to the standards that anybody who would be in the grand finals would set for themselves. So it's just, it happens. Like, we have runs like this sometimes, and sometimes they're the last game of the tournament.
Yeah, what happened on Hammer Jump?
I guess I just wasn't. I thought I was on it. I must have been one too low to start. It was just a misread. I'm pretty sure I got to where I wanted to go on the second movement, even though I needed like 3 sword buffers to get there. I must have just started one too low for the first bomb placement. I don't really know. I expected to get it, but I think I just hurried the read is all.
Right.
Yeah, I had commented that the last pixel was wrong, but FSG identified what you just said, that it started off on the wrong one.
That's typically what will happen if I miss it. And I actually did. I think what happened too that hurt is my first pause buffer. I turned to the right. I wanted to recheck the pixel actually, and I actually turned Link. And my visual cue is based on Link's hat. So if I turn Link, that's it. My visual's gone. So I was just like, I think it was on it. Let's go with it. But again, like the mistakes in this run were numerous. So pointing at anyone, I'm not going to lose sleep over missing hammer jump. It was just. You can understand missing hammer jump in a run where you also make 15 other mistakes, right?
So, yeah, we know you're a runner of consistency, and this whole tournament has been a great demonstration of really good runs from you, Buane. So, what's next for you with speedrunning?
Definitely. I mean, part of one of the reasons, I guess, for the motivation to have an event like this, however many months ago that was, December. So boy, we're coming up on like 5-ish months, almost 6 months since we announced the tournament. One of the motivations was like, there's not gonna be as much time for me to do this, going forward. So like, not going out an event like this. Like this is not like my last run ever or anything dramatic like that. But while I still have the ability to remain at a top competitive level, that was going to be fun. Just kind of partaking in an event like this. So there'll be less play for me. But I think anybody that has tuned in the past, I'm not streaming that much these days. I don't have as much time. And that's another reason I've been kind of surprised by the tournament results, because I'll do runs every once in a while, or I'll do an offline run here or there, and they're not going well, and then the tournament runs come and they're actually surprisingly good. So I've sort of just been able to catch lightning in a bottle to beat the really good players that I beat in this event. But you never really leave the community, so even if I'm playing less or watching less, you're still around, and I'll pop back in and, maybe unretire at some point, and, when's the next tournament, like set my sights on that. But, I'm a one game speedrunner. I don't see myself picking up Super Mario World or Lion King or whatever else is going around that's hot these days.
Hey, I'm still there.
I'll be back, but, it'll be less, it'll be nice, this tournament wrapping up here, and the rando tournament that's going on right now, getting closer to wrapping up as well. So it's as good a time as any to take a step back. But I mean, the last time I said that, I don't think I did. So hold me to it in a couple weeks. See if I'm still playing.
Here's to unretiring.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. You never really retire. So.
And how about you, Ari?
I have zero clue. I thought that maybe I'll just take a break on NMG for a little bit after the tourney, because like about halfway through the tourney I was like, well, it's getting to be a lot, and especially with the rando tourney going on as well. Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I've been dabbling in other categories, like Mirror Shield's still there, and there's been a new resurgence of any percent save and quit, which has been a little bit fun, and I don't know, maybe just some other things in between. But I still want to get 122 this year, and especially with the till end of the tourney, I really have been ramping up my times, and like even during the tourney, I cut off 16 seconds of my time. So here's to the other 16 seconds in the second half of the year, I hope. And just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess, and hope to stay motivated. I'm still having fun with it, and that's the most important part.
That's great to hear. Did you have any other questions, Clear Mouse?
I mean, nothing really comes to mind. Oh no, Buane. I was gonna say, it was very refreshing to only hear single heartbeats on your side in this game, as opposed to double heartbeats that we heard last night from your random.
Well, it's kind of funny that I halfway through Dark World when things were really bad, like somewhere around Cold Stare cutscene, I actually took my headphones off, so I didn't get to hear any heartbeeps the rest of the run. I have tried that sometimes when I feel like I'm really just not focused enough, like take the headphones out, no sound, and just kind of play the game. So I didn't even hear any heart beeps the rest of the way. That's the way to do it, I guess. I mean, if we had double heart beeps in NMG or quadruple heart beeps, I would get as many heart beeps as I could out of it. It's just
Why?
especially if you're being restreamed. Like
I
it's
appreciate
all
it.
the fans love it. Like I've never seen or heard anybody who dislikes it.
I would like to know your definition of either all or fan.
I'm still waiting for that first person to say that they didn't enjoy it. So it did enhance their experience. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of things since I'm barely looking at chat because I cannot do two things at once. So talking and watching chat, very, very difficult. But I have seen some people saying, what a good event and things like that. And I guess I could just take a minute or two and wrap things up from a tournament perspective. Some thanks, and I'm not gonna get overly wordy because I certainly can. In the interest of getting everybody out of here, and Eri can go pop the champagne.
Just talk as much as you want. I'm just here enjoying it. So,
just a real quick thanks to the rest of the staff, Delane, Dow, Apathy, and especially Series Cord. Series did so much heavy lifting consistently from like literally day one to the final day of the tournament. Just handled so much of the restream stuff and ZSR communication and. Not like hard work or anything like that, but things just ran super smooth from start to finish, and he was a huge reason why. Literally on the first day of this tournament, so March 1st, I started a new job on that day, and that wasn't the plan when we announced and scheduled the tournament. So there was a worry for me as we got a week or two out from the start of the event that. What's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to, kind of babysit the stupid bot. And if the bot breaks, what's going to be happening? But having somebody super dedicated and jumped in and picked up as much as he could and, ran with it, didn't burn himself out in 2 weeks, just, kept on going, did tons of work. So huge shout out to Sirius. It would not have been as good of an event without him behind the scenes. And, thanks to the ZSR team, the whole army of ZSR restreamers. Trez and his group really brought exactly what we were looking for to this event. We're just a bunch of volunteers having fun. If you're playing, if you're commentating, if you're doing restreams, if you're in chat. But they bring a professional air. They were super dedicated. Real interest in the event. Personally invested. A lot of them just seemed to be, enjoying the event. We weren't. It was a real partnership, I guess, is the way I would summarize it. So I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out between us and ZSR, and that's what I expected, honestly, given that I did get some visibility into that relationship when we had the All Dungeons tournament. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me when we were trying to figure out who to partner with to put this on Twitch. But a huge thank you to all ZSR folks who were involved, and there were a lot of them. So I won't try to name them by name, but everybody that was involved, it was just there were no hiccups. I can't think of any issues off the top of my head at all that we had with restreams or getting race time rooms opened or anything. Like there were no issues, which is honestly flabbergasting to think about. Volunteers also, everybody who did comms, everybody who did the side restreams early on in the group stage, like people put in a lot of work, volunteered to make this event better, which is not a surprise. If you're around the community already, you know that there's plenty of people in the community who work to make it better, every day, every week. It's the only speed community I guess I'm really a member of, but I don't know how it compares to others. But I've always seen it as really inclusive, really welcoming, really interested in all aspects of the game. I remember being a newish NMG runner, and you'd get those top players popping into your stream to watch and make a comment and offer some advice, and it's a community where you're just interested in the game. and there's a lot of people at the top volunteering for commentating. You know, Clearmouse, I'm pretty sure you ended up being the top commentator in terms of volume, and Chex was right up there with you. You guys put in just tons of work, so it was really good to get you guys here on the finals, the finals too. But yeah, everybody that you know, whether you did 3 comms or 17 comms for these events, I think we had almost 50% of the matches. I meant to crunch these numbers better. Sirius gave me numbers, and I came up with numbers that were different, so I didn't get a chance to reconcile them. But we had like 230 something matches in the tournament. Some of them didn't get played due to drops or forfeits or things like that. But we were right around 50% matches got restreamed, and for a very, very long time, we were having a restream, at least one restream a day for 4 or 5 weeks, which was just really good. So it was just such a fun time to tune in to Twitch, jump on ZSR, and watch tournament Link to the Past. We were able to do that most days for a very long time. Out of those 230-ish matches, we had 46 races that were decided by less than a minute, including a 1 and 2 second finish right at the end of brackets, no less. So just tons of close races, nail biters. Races getting decided by missed torch glitches at the end, or just really exciting. Even when 2 runners might not put on their highest quality run, and there were not a lot of I kept saying in these interviews after races that it's really hard to bring your A game to a tournament race, and quite often your B game is going to be enough to win you a tournament race. So just to have these races that were really close was just, it's what you hope for, but you can't guarantee it with a game like this. We did have 27 race PBs out of those 230-something matches. 27 PBs, especially in the early group stage and early in brackets. They just seemed to be every day someone was PBing. I could go back and count, but I'm sure we had more days in March where somebody PB'd in a tournament race than somebody didn't. So just tons of improvement. A very, very high percentage of the players who joined ended up PBing at some point. Either it was pre-tournament and after we announced it, or it was during the tournament. So just really high level gaming from so many players. Started with 72 players in this, and Eri is the last man standing. So I can't really come up with a more deserving winner. If we had scripted it at the start, Eri has been gaming pretty hard for a number of years now. The last couple months have not been an exception. So just super happy for him. We keep meeting in these kinds of situations. So there's really no shame in losing to one of the top runners. Not that we were really putting this event on to be a let's find out who the best Link to the Past player is. We already know that. We have a very long and robust leaderboard for exactly that purpose. This is just kind of a celebration, but I would say you'd be hard-pressed to come up with somebody who embodies a Link to the Past skill and the Link to the Past community more than Eri. So just super deserving. Happy to see him take it, and I will be I'll be watching very intently for this 122 grind. It's a real thing that's really gonna happen. So buckle up. And just one last shout out to a couple people who they may not have been in the tournament, and maybe they did some comms here, but just if I mention the community, there's I got my start in NMG in the last NMG tournament, which is actually when Eri got his start as well. And that was 3 years ago. And in that 3 years, there've been a lot of good people I've come in contact with, and just great guys around the community, and guys like Greenham, Fricker, who did a lot in this tournament, Moogle, the 3 guys behind the top tutorial we've got, in the last 3 years, just the resources even that we've put together as a community to enable people today to pick up the game and play it at a high level versus even where it was 3 years ago, which was very advanced compared to, the start of the Link to the Past speedrunning history. It's just so far beyond what it was even when I started and when Eri started. It's so cool that players can pick it up and, be at 135 and then a couple months later they're at 127 or something like that. It's just insane, and it's a testament to people like Greenham and Fricker and Moogle, and then people who are just super active in the community. Josh, FSG, Blunt Bunny, like these people are super helpful to, if you're a 125 player trying to grind to 124, or if you're a 145 player trying to figure out what safety to drop. It's just, there's so many good people in this community, and you want an event like this to kind of reflect the best parts of the community, and hopefully we pulled that off. I don't know if I have anything else, but yeah, just all the love that we've gotten, and people seem to have enjoyed the event. It seems genuine, so just know that I'm thankful for any enjoyment everybody got out of it, and I'm looking forward to whatever we do as a community next.
Yeah, thanks for initiating it. I learned so much throughout this whole thing, watching and playing. So
yeah,
it's been really enjoyable.
More. There's always more to learn about this game, right? Even when it doesn't matter what level you're at, you might see a player do something that you've never seen before, just because you happen to be watching a race of theirs, and then suddenly, like that's your new strat, or you look, hey, I do it like this, so why is that? And there's just, it's almost like you can never stop learning. Most of getting good at the game is learning. There's not a lot of like difficult tricks or anything like that. It's just so many screens to learn, so many strategies to learn, and there's just so many people out there that can make it happen for you, whatever level of skill you're at. So it's been a fun ride. I hope everybody else has enjoyed it. And, maybe there'll be another one.
Probably 2023.
Andy can go for his 123 then.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for hosting the tournament, and as Buane said, to everyone who made it possible. It's always sad, when it's grand finals time, everything's been decided, and you have to end the stream, because you know there isn't going to be another match. It's not going to be another NMG tournament match for a while. I've personally enjoyed restreaming these a lot myself as well, and just want to reiterate, it's been awesome to work with you from the ZSR side. But yeah, I don't have much to say. I think Buane has touched on everything. I just want to give a huge shout out again to Chex and Famos for commentating this match today. You two did the grand finals, the duty it deserved.
Yeah, thanks, George, for bringing the hype.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Before we started the stream, it was like 10 seconds before the countdown was expiring. I was like, how high do you want? 1 to 10? And both Chex and Famos just jumped and it said 11. So that's how that happened. But yeah, I think with that being said, there's only one thing I do want to head out here with. Actually, two things. If you like, tournaments coming to a conclusion, if you like, high stakes matches, there's going to be the potential second to last match of the Twilight Princess Any Percent tournament coming up next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be losers bracket finals with Nimso versus Marco. You may recognize both of these names, and so that should be an absolutely awesome match as well. And I do also want to point out that if you like tournament, just new tournaments on ZSR, the OT randomizer DDR tournament is having its first qualifier next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we've got one tournament wrapping up and one tournament starting on ZSR. So it's gonna be an awesome weekend. But aside from that, I don't have much to say. Thanks everyone again for making it possible. We're gonna be sending you all over to Jay Coper. And if you have any final words, not just for this match, but also for the tournament, floor is yours. And then this will be the final stream cut for the Link to the Past NMG tournament. So, if you have any final words, take it away.
Thank you all so much for everything when it comes to the tournament, when it comes to everything for the past 3 years. Just teaching me, supporting, being around in chat, just seeing the improvement and seeing the entire community improve. It's been a blast, and I hope to be a part of it for another coming years, because you all are awesome, and I love it.
I want to say thank you, especially to Buane, for taking the time to basically organizing this entire tournament. I mean, I know you had staff, right? Doc, Dao, Sirius, and you had helpers, but I mean, I think you get a lot of credit for taking initiative and really doing basically all of the organizational work, and the fact that so many people kind of got interested in this game, right? Community really came together. I think you're just really, really a great event. Really happy to be able to be a part of it.
Agree. Buane is the best.
Again, thanks all for the kind words. They're not super necessary, but they're appreciated. The community has given a lot. This is my first real opportunity to give anything back, and I only regret that I was feeling guilty that I kept winning. Honestly, that's the only real regret. I'm not gonna intentionally lose. I'm too competitive for that, but I fully expected to be on the sidelines watching, Eri and Doom and Dow and Fricker and whoever else fight it out as their last remaining players, and I just kind of regret I wasn't able to be that cheerleader because I couldn't really cheerlead myself without feeling strange about it. So while I was happy to play as well as I did in the tournament and get as far as I could and lose to Eri and beat some really good players, it wasn't about that, and so again, just pretty pleased with the way things turned out all the way around, I suppose. We planned for a lot of various contingencies in the planning stage of this tournament, and we ended up at the high water mark for every aspect. Just participation from players, participation from volunteers, interest from chat, and improvement from players just across the board. Eri and I, like I said, got our start 3 years ago in the NMG tournament, and we've got plenty of people in the top 20 who started out around that time. If we can tune in and see some players who were in this tournament in the 130 range suddenly be in the top 30 on the leaderboard a couple of years from now, that would just be the icing on the cake. That's what it's all about. Grow the community, and the better the community gets, it pushes everybody to get better, and it's just a lot of fun. So
in 3 years we'll have the next area in Buane.
That's a scary thought, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. That's what the community is all about, and it's awesome.
We have to cut here though because Eri's got to get some sleep, man. It's late over there, and I'm feeling guiltier and guiltier here.
It's all good. I enjoy it. We don't get to do this often enough because we never meet in other tourneys, right?
There's always the random one.
Couple weeks we could see each other again if we get lucky.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But yeah, just thanks to everybody, and it's a great community. If you're not part of it yet, there's always today's always a good day.
Thank you again so much for everything. And I think given the circumstances, it would only be fitting if we'll have you say the last words of the stream. So, Buane, I think it's time. Take us out.
Hope you all enjoyed yourself. I know I did. It's been a fun ride. There will be a next one, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. See you guys when the next one arrives. Have a good one. Enjoy your evenings, your mornings, your afternoons, and that's it. Get out of here.